morning, Brutal Plaent listeners. The California rock band Trapt has been a band for over 2 decades, has released over 20 singles, and had their debut album go platinum. Now they are releasing their new album, Shadow Work, on June 19th. My name is Joey, and I have the privilege to interview Chris Taylor Brown. Thanks for being willing to share with us, Chris. How are you doing this morning?
Great, man. Great.
That's awesome. What have you been doing during the COVID-19 lockdown? I'm sure you've been pretty bored like the rest of us.
Oh, man, I've been saying what I got to say on social media. I've been promoting a new album. Just doing what I can to be productive, in ways that make me feel good about it.
Yeah. How much has the lockdown affected the band? Like touring, writing, practicing, anything like that?
Well, we were scheduled to play a bunch of shows in April. Obviously, that got moved to later in the fall. So the stuff that we were going to do April, May, June, July is being moved to October, November, September, October, November. Hopefully, that's all we need to do. Same shows either way. We're just going to pack them into a smaller time period. So we're ready to get out there and play these new songs as soon as venues are ready to have us come.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
We just want to get this going.
So the album is called Shadow Work. Tell us about the album name. How'd you come up with that? What does that mean?
Yeah. So I got really into Carl Jung and psychology over the last few years. I've always been into self-discovery and self-empowerment and all that kind of stuff, being honest with yourself. But really kind of dove into it even more over the last few years. And Carl Jung has a concept called shadow work, and that's basically just the parts of yourself that you're not as proud of or that you don't have as much control over. Usually it's an emotional thing. Those are the parts of you that you need to keep as close to you as you can so that you can know those parts of you, know why you act the way you do, be honest with yourself if there's things that you can improve upon and all that kind of stuff. It's just admitting, the other side of you, the darker side of you, who that is, and caring about that side of you. So I think I've always written lyrics like that, but this one definitely all the lyrics are about discovering who you are and who you are in relation to other people that you care about and all that. So definitely got deep on this one. A lot of soul searching.
Mm-hmm. So the cover art kind of goes along with the title and things like that, with the yin yang and
yin yang light dark thing. Yeah.
So who designed the cover art? Is it something the band does, or you hire that out, or? Yeah,
we have a guy named Travis who put it together. He's real good at the 3D stuff. So we used him on some single artwork for our song "Come Together" we did with Anomaly, and so we decided to use him again for this album cover, and it turned out pretty cool.
Yeah. Now this album seems a little bit more pop influenced maybe than previous albums. What made you guys decide to go maybe in that direction a little bit more than the older stuff?
Well, we've had. You probably talk about Tell Me How You Really Feel, but we've had songs like that since we started. There's poppy songs on our first album, on our third album, Only Through the Pain. I like hooks, and I like lyrics that, you don't have to read the lyrics to understand them. You can hear them and know what's being said, So conversational type of lyrics that I'm always about. That's basically what I do on every album is just try to make it into somewhat of a little diary about things that I'm going through, and if it comes out in a poppy way or a darker, heavier way, it's just whatever the vibe of that music makes me feel. Usually that's what ends up becoming the lyrics.
Whatever season you're kind of going through in life at the time. Yeah. It just seemed like a lot of the songs were kind of lighter or maybe a little bit more uplifting in a way, kind of offering hope. Do you write most of the songs yourself then, or is that kind of a corporate thing the band does together?
Yeah, I do. I've always written every lyric. I do a lot of the music. occasionally we'll do a whole thing as a band, or the guitar player will have a little piece of music and we make it into a song, or Pete, our bass player, he definitely comes up with stuff here and there too. But yeah, I mean, usually lyrically, that's my domain, and what the band's about, as far as our message and what we're trying to put out there. Yeah, definitely coming from me.
So when you guys write, a lot of times you get together, or do you share things online in order to do the writing process, or what does the writing process look like?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of times we're all making music on our own, we're by ourselves, and something comes across that we think is great, then we show the rest of the band. That's what I do. Come up with a song or a hook or something that's kind of basic, just a minute and a half, 2-minute version of it, and send it to the guys, see if they like it, if it's worth working on. Then we work on it till we like it as a band.
Yeah. And you guys just released 2 singles last Friday, correct? Make It Out Alive and Tell Me How You Really Feel. What feedback have you been getting so far?
Oh, great. I mean, I think people really, like all the different sides of Trapt, and I think we're moving into just more songwriting, more. We did a lot of acoustic performances in 2018, just in front of a few hundred fans that know every song, every lyric to every song, and it was amazing to be able to do that. And I think as we get older, we want to be able to do more acoustic stuff, more acoustic driven stuff, and I think this album really reflects that. It's got every song you can break it down to just the acoustic guitar and a vocal, and it still has that feeling and a movement to it, and so that's really what we were concentrating on this record, not to try to be technical and have as many kick drums and 4 bars or as many guitar notes as you can throw in there, and it's really just about the right notes and not being technical or any of that stuff. We're kind of over any of that. We just want to make a great song that somebody can relate to.
Yeah. When I listened to it, I noticed that a lot of the songs are very, very catchy. You can find yourself singing along to it by the end of the song. So, I always like to ask this question: like, what do you have a song on the album that's like got a really personal meaning to you? I'm sure all of them have some sort of meaning that they came from somewhere, were inspired by something, but is there one that's really personal to you?
That, like, you hit it already. I mean, every song it's just like a body of work. I can't really say one thing I went through is more important than another thing. It's just it's a 12 songs that we wrote. I wrote the lyrics to, and most of the music, and it's one body of work of things I've gone through for those last few years. I think Tell Me How You Really Feel is really just a great song. I think one of the best I've written, just as far as lyrically on what you need to do to really have a relationship, a real relationship, and you really need to not have any fear getting across how you really feel to the other person, because nobody's a psychic. So, but it's tough to be honest with yourself and others if maybe they won't like what you have to say, and it might hurt that they don't understand your point of view the way you do. But you still have to make that attempt, because too many people just stay quiet and just sweep things under the rug and just don't talk about things, and that just keeps a relationship dies by death by 1,000 paper cuts in that kind of environment. So hopefully people who are kind of having some issues communicating, they hear that song and go, yeah, maybe we should have a real talk, So hopefully that encourages that kind of thing. Yeah,
that's good. What made you guys decide to cover one of Joel's songs, Save Your Soul?
Just because, I feel like it was a cool song lyrically, and kind of what we're going through right now, kind of trying to find a soul of, what kind of soul we have as far as a nation, and the things we're going through, and the misery some people are having to deal with right now. I just think even before this virus thing hit, I just think it was perfect lyrically, and my guitar player Brennan and I, we were just figuring out how we can do some movie trailer kind of things using old hit songs and slow it down, make it darker, all that kind of stuff, and we chose Save Your Soul, and it my voice over it sounded good enough where I felt like it could be a Trapt song, and we really made it our own, and like I said, slowed it down, made it darker. I think we really made it our own.
Yeah, a lot of people can't pull off covers, but when I listened to it, I was like, wow, you guys did a lot of dynamic, and there was a lot of emotion in the song. So, yeah. So I'm sure you knew I have to go here. The Twitter wars, is this a legit thing going back and forth, or is this the complete genius publicity stunt? Like, people that weren't talking about Trapt before are now talking about Trapt. And
well, I definitely knew I'd get pushback, and there was a new album coming out, and so I just felt like I could hit two birds with one stone as far as doing what I can with the platform I have to support my country's president. I like, the things he's doing for middle class as far as trade deals, and I'm just into economics and politics and all that kind of stuff, and I just saw guys like, I'm going to renegotiate these trade deals that were in favor of large multinational corporations and make it better and more fair for the average American worker. So that right there, I just loved hearing that, and that's why I support Trump, and I want him to have the 8 years to do that thing. Obviously, a lot of people hate him and hate his personality and all that kind of stuff, but I'm just looking at policies and where the United States will be when he leaves office. It's not really about his personality or who he is. It's just about what he put on the table as far as what he said he was going to do. And so I want to do anything I can to help push him across the finish line and get him another 4 years so that he can just do what he said he promised he would try to do in 2016. And I think he's really stuck as close as he can to make those promises. So that's all I can expect from any politician, is to just say, I'm going to do this and make a real attempt at doing it for the first 4 years. That shows me that he should do another 4. So that's a big part of why I wanted to support Trump on this one, and especially with this virus thing hitting. I think everybody should be behind the executive making decisions on this, and hopefully get through it as a country, without being too divided. And that's the idea. And I think that, like I said, there's certain things I wanted this country to go in direction-wise, and he's doing that. I wanted to keep going. So I put my support behind him and made it public, and used my actual Trapt page to make a point. With so many bands bashing the guy and bashing his supporters, I just wanted to be a counter to that energy that's always coming at Trump and his supporters. So I think I did that, and at the same time created some awareness for the band and what we're doing as far as a new album. So I think, basically two birds with one stone kind of situation. Yeah.
Well, I know a lot of people are ripping on you, but I just got to thinking, I'm like, golly, this guy, like, he knows how to get the band's name out there, and and if you're supportive of something and you want to be outspoken, go for it. But I am kind of curious, just because you have been using the band page and not like your personal page, is the rest of the band the same as you in political beliefs and supporting you being as outspoken as you are? Because there's a lot of people, like you said, that are very oppositional, and this could affect the whole band. Like, how does that work in the dynamic of your band?
If I put CTB, then it's my, I'm not saying anyone else in the band has these views. On the Twitter page, it's all views by CTB unless otherwise stated.
Oh, okay.
Every time I post on Facebook, sign it with CTB. So
okay,
that would keep.
Yeah, I was curious how that works, working with. I mean, you're a business, right? So it's going to affect the business if it's on the name. So okay. I just noticed, and not that I follow all the drama on the internet. I don't have time for that. But I saw something the other day, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater game.
Yeah.
That's quite entertaining. It looks like there was 15,000 signatures on a petition to keep your song off the soundtrack, and it never has been on there and wasn't announced that it would be.
Yeah, I saw that, and I went with it. I just was like, hey, if everyone thinks that, let's make everyone think that this is, and it shows the cancel culture crap that goes on Twitter, and it's 70% liberal. People that are liberals, maybe even more than that, I would say, and rabid, they get angry if you have a different point of view and all that stuff, and they'll come insult you personally as much as they can, and a lot of times I'll dish it back. But I know that comes with the territory. I knew that was going to happen anyways.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. I have something I want to promote and push ideologically, and country-wise and direction. I want to be a part of that. So I go ahead and use my platforms to do that.
Yeah. Well, whether someone agrees with you or not, you got to admire someone standing up for what they believe in and not being afraid to speak out. But so one last question about all this stuff. I also noticed there's one of these New York hardcore guys, Danny Diablo. He mentioned something about a boxing match for charity. Is that something that you never kept pursuing, or what happened there?
Look, if somebody wants to fight me, I'll say, go ahead, let's go. And if they want to make it into a big boxing match in front of people, let's do it. I have no problem. I'm not going to back down from anything like that. But I think at the end of the day, nobody wants to look like that's what they're trying to do. So I think both sides are like, they don't want to look like the aggressor. And so, if Danny Diablo's not telling me let's do this and all that stuff and didn't contact me to try to make it happen, then I'm not going to provoke it either,
Well, all you guys, thanks for entertaining us with this. But there's a couple last questions for you, Chris. Tour plans, you said they're still on 2020, later in the fall?
We really don't know anything. I'm
okay.
not a government official. I don't know when they're going to allow venues. I don't own the venues. I don't know what's going on with that at all.
So you're just at the mercy of the venues, but I'm sure the band's hopeful to get out.
Yep, very much.
Yeah. All right, one last question for you. Shadow Work doesn't drop for a few weeks yet, so what's the best album of 2020 so far?
Oh, man, I don't know. I really don't. I think it's going to – I don't know. I haven't really dove into any new stuff this year, I have to say. So I can't really answer that question. I've just been focused on, new Trapt for the last, few months.
Sure. All right. Well, awesome. Thanks for your time, Chris, and I wish you the best in the band and moving forward in 2020.
Right on. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.